I'm just like all over the place.
They told us, and they told the children too, that they felt the impact when they hit us. Yeah, that's another interesting story. Well, with the car that we had an entry, they were raining. Sure. And he had
Knew that he would be
CRV, and they hit us so hard when the turning. I thought my shoulder was dislocated, so I didn't get out. I told my girlfriend, I said, "Don't get out because it was still traffic." I said, "We still block the road, everything's safe."
Good evening. I'd like to call the Thursday, August 13th, 2026, regular meeting of the Nottoway County School Board to order. We will have a moment of silence, followed by a prayer led by Mr. Wilson. Then, if you choose to pray with us, followed by the pledge. We'd appreciate it if you could stand if you're capable.
Father God, we just come and give you all the honor and all the praise, Lord. Thank you for this day, Lord. And Lord, we just ask you to be with us in this meeting as we go through and make decisions for our children, Lord. We thank you for our superintendent, her staff, and all the administrations, Lord. And we just ask you to guide us and lead us in the right direction so we can make the right decisions. For us in the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. There are no awards or recognition at this time. I don't see anyone for public delegations. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approval of a travel for our superintendent, Dr. Martin.
Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board, this evening you have in your packet a request for upcoming meetings that are outside of the school division. I did list the Region 8 superintendents meetings that meet in Farmville once a month. The first one is actually next week, but I'm not attending that because that is the first day of school, and that's not a very convenient time to be at a meeting. So that one's not listed. The Governor School meetings, those are the dates of the Governor School meetings for the year. The VAS Fall Conference in Richmond, I typically only go one day to that conference, not the days that are listed there, but that is the date range of it. Of course, BSBA Annual Convention with y'all in November, and then I was requested to present and serve on the panel at the Aspiring Superintendents Program. That's January 21st. I did that last year, and so it was requested that I serve on that panel again this year. Of course, other dates may be added during future meetings.
Based on this information, may I have a motion to approve the superintendent's travel?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
21st Century Grant Application for Blackstone Primary and Crew Primary. Dr. Martin.
So this evening in your packet, you have the approval of the 21st Century Grant application for Blackstone Primary and Crew Primary School. This would be a combined grant for them. Note that our current grant, 21st Century, expired June 30th, so we could not apply until we were out of a grant cycle. And so we are asking permission to apply for this grant. The funding would not start until late spring. They changed the grant cycle a little bit, so it runs late spring, summer, and for a 5-year period instead of a 3-year period. The max amount of funding is $250,000, renewable each year, but that would be shared between the 2 schools. Each school would have their own program coordinators, but they would work collectively underneath the program requirements.
May I have a motion to approve, we'll have discussion there. A motion to approve the application of the 21st Century Grant for the 2 schools?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Outlaw?
I've got 2 or 3 questions. This is what year that we have had this program in Nottoway Public Schools? Several.
So we had it 6 years prior. Of course, we will not have it at all this school year.
Specifically, what improvements have been noted? Because I believe the purpose of this is closing achievement gaps for low-income and disadvantaged students.
So
What measurements, if there are any?
They are based off of student performance on the standards of learning assessment, attendance, discipline, and over the course of the year, our discipline numbers have gone down at both of our schools. Academic achievement gaps have been closed at both of those schools that have had it. So there's been a lot of measures there. Our parents are actually, especially at Blackstone and Crew, are very devastated that we do not have this grant this year because of the extra opportunities that it has provided for children, such as enrichment, summer programming, extra tutoring support, though we will have tutoring this school year through a different means, but it'll be more limited and more confined. But we've had students that have participated in the past from pre-K all the way up to 8th grade in our programming, and have given them opportunities that they typically would not have or experience if we didn't have it.
I asked specifically, okay, we had all these students, and last year their measurement was 60.
So one of the things with the requirement of the grant is, which makes this a little difficult to sometimes get specific measurements. It has to be based, the data has to be based on students that have attended 30 or more times. So if Marsha only goes 5 times, then my number is not calculated into the data. So that is difficult, but the specific measures are, we have looked at student discipline and student attendance related to this grant program as well. And that's one of the first steps in closing the achievement gap, is to have students at school. And if you don't come to school, you can't participate in 21st Century at all. And then, of course, getting the one-on-one support. So there are measures that have to be turned in every year to the Department of Education as to progress and your goals. And of course, our grants have closed out, and those progress measures were submitted to the state. So this would be a completely new set of measurements. They have very specific measures in this grant that was not in the grants prior, that we have to center our goals around, with family engagement, increasing that, of course, looking at reading achievement, math achievement. So it's very specific moving forward, even more fine-tuned than what it has been in the past. They actually told us what our goals had to be for this grant.
So how do you determine if a student is low income or otherwise disadvantaged?
So those are direct numbers that come from Department of Social Services to us, and those are direct certified. Also off of census data and those type of things all go together to tell us what our disadvantaged status is. So we do not make that determination ourselves. That determination is given directly to us through DSS.
And I noticed that we have spaces for 110 students, and they're equally divided, 55 and 55, between the 2 schools. How do you come up with that number? Those numbers?
Well, being that it's one grant combined for both schools, we gave them, it would be equal amount of opportunities for each of them. The disadvantaged status is pretty close between the two schools. Like one's maybe 64, one's maybe 63 disadvantaged status, so it's kind of evenly split between them. Within that, they can base it on how many students they need to focus on in second grade or third grade, and maybe Blackstone was first grade and second grade as the focus of the program. That is the goal of it, because you have to have an average weekly attendance, but that doesn't mean that they don't take more students than that each week into the program as well.
Okay, thank you.
I have one question.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
Oh, excuse me, one other question. In the document that you prepared for this, and they don't have page numbers, so I can't tell you which page number it was, but there was a block, assessment scores for math and reading both below 50, and your answers for both schools was no. What does that mean?
It means that their overall data on standardized assessments is not below 50%.
Not below what?
Not below 50%. They were above the score. So you get points for each area in the grant. And so if your scores are below a certain percent, then you get extra points in those areas. And so that's why it's marked no.
Okay, thank you.
And why are we not getting the grant? I might have missed it.
Well, we don't have it currently. So our cycle of grant funding ended on June 30th. The current grant that we have ended. You could not have two grants running at the same time. So in order for it to have been in effect for this school year, we would have had to apply last year, but we weren't eligible to apply because we were already under a grant that ran through. So we weren't eligible for an application until this grant cycle, which gives us a year gap in having it. And I will tell you, we did not apply for Nottoway Intermediate and Middle School because the attendance numbers were not as strong there. And just, there's so many other things with sports and different things and trying to get the students in. It was hard to make some of our requirements at those age levels with that. So we felt the focus was much better at the elementary levels.
So what's is anything going to replace that since the parents and things are?
Yeah,
Something else to help them.
Right, so we actually have, I just shared it with principals and assistant principals this past week, is the guidelines for our tutoring program. After-school tutoring will be offered Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the primary schools from about 2:45 until 4:15, at the complex schools from 3:45-ish until 3:45 till about 5:30 each day. And it's very specific guidelines and very specific planning for each individual student that is attending tutoring, so that we're really targeting the needs of that specific child. But it will start September the 15th. Dr. Lewis, do you remember, is it the 15th? Start September 15th and run through May 6th. We have allocated teachers. That's one of the things that we made certain to include in the budget for this year, is to have a very defined after-school tutoring program, knowing that we were going to have a gap in this opportunity and knowing that we could not go without having some support for students after school.
That sounds rough. You pull that away.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I have one question. I just want to make sure I understood correctly. This $250,000 can be spent over a 5-year period?
No, sir. It would be $250,000 each year for the
Year for 5 years.
Yes, sir. Now, I will tell you, they do, if you don't spend your full amount, if you're not below a certain threshold, they will tell you that you got to spend your old money, and we're only going to give you X number of the difference for the next year. So it just depends. If you're under a certain amount, they'll give you the full amount. And especially being that we have 2 schools, I feel pretty confident that we would spend.
I just wanted to make sure I understood that correctly. Is there any other questions?
everyone. So regarding the grant itself, the thought process I had, and I might be thinking inaccurately, and that's fine. Is it solely based on income? So meaning, I heard you say the 64% versus 63% disadvantaged, and I recognize that. However, I also recognize that Blackstone has a larger population in addition to lower test scores. So how does that come into comparison with this grant?
So all of those are factors that are determining factors in it. So,
You know, like as far as the portion of slots available.
right, so right now, I mean, if one doesn't fill all the slots and the other one needs slots, then they would have it available to them. But I do keep in mind that just because we may have more students at Blackstone that need Tier 1 interventions, we do have students in Tier 2 and Tier 3, very specific tailored interventions to at Crew Primary as well. So if awarded, those are things that we will work through with that grant because all of their data, because it's one grant, will all be combined together. So
Yeah,
we'll determine which one gets how many slots, you know, when we get it. It's based on an even, we would like an even split of average weekly attendance. So we want each of them meeting the amount that we put in. But numbers go up, and it always works off of like a 10-to-1 ratio for students.
Right, it's just, and I support the decision it is that you have. My thought process is that we have a larger number of students, we have more need in one school, but yet they're both getting the same support. So that was my thought process. I support you because you have your reasons. I did want to ask.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Substitute pay raises, Ms. Meyer?
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board. I'm like echoing. This evening, I'm bringing to you a request to increase our substitute pay rates for the year. They just got to turn it down.
That sounds up too high.
Is that better? Okay. So this has been on the list to do with budget, however, budget was tight whenever we went through budget season. But with the updated, you know, governor's budget that was signed at the end of the year and the fact that we got our budget amendment passed and appropriated, now we can actually go through the process of adjusting substitute pay rates. So you have before you this evening the different substitute positions that we have and the different rates. So a substitute teacher that holds a high school degree or an associate's degree, the current rate is $105 a day. It would move to $110 a day. A substitute teacher who holds a bachelor's degree, that would move from $115 a day to $120. A substitute teacher who is a retired teacher, their rate would move from $165 a day to $170. A substitute driver, whether that is a car driver or a bus driver, their rate would move from $76 a day or $76 a run to $80 a run. So if they do 2 different runs in a day, then they get paid $80 for each run. A substitute driver who does an extended run, and that's a driver who would drive outside the county to a private day placement or to like the Southside campus or to something like that, that substitute rate would go from $95 a day to $100. And then a substitute custodian, currently, they make $13 an hour as a substitute. That would move to $14, as well as a substitute cafeteria staff worker. They would move from $13 an hour to $14 an hour. And the estimated total that this would affect the budget, and it's kind of hard, it's estimated because I don't know how many substitute days we'll use, is about an extra $6,500 is what I'm estimating would be added to the budget to accommodate this increase in substitute rate. Okay. I mean, this does keep us ahead of the minimum wage and also make sure that we are in line with where we need to be.
We have a motion to approve the proposed rate for the subjects indicated.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
Out of curiosity, substitute driver, extended run, do they stay there or do they come back and then go back again?
It depends. Some stay, some do not. We do not make them. But I will say, some of them do stay because they don't want the travel back and forth, but we kind of leave that up to the driver as to
I was just curious.
what they do. But they are still, know that they're on call in case of, if a child gets sick, they have to go back and get, or for some reason, there's an urgent early closure that was not planned, they know that they have to immediately go back and get those children.
And even if they stay, they still get the pay for both runs, right?
Correct, yes.
Just curious.
The minimum wage currently is,
$12.77, and that will increase
goes up in January.
January 1, but I don't know to how much, because technically, even though there's legislation to get it up to $15, it still is up to mine just went blank,
Make up a group.
Wage authority.
That's right, we won't move it. You say there.
It's whoever's over top of DPOR. It's up to kind of them. They gather a bunch of data, and then it's a secretary name, and I keep blanking on that. But they gather a bunch of data, and they actually make the ultimate decision as to what that rate is, because they take into account cost of living changes and this, that, and the other. So it will go up. It'll definitely be over $13 come January 1. I just don't know exactly 13 and what. I don't have an idea of what that extra little bit might be. It'll definitely probably be over $13.
And when will this take effect?
This will take effect immediately. So with us getting ready to start the school year, we would want this to take effect immediately. That way, come day one, if we, have a need for substitutes, they're getting the updated pay rate.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The first reading of July policy revisions, Dr. Martin.
Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board, so this is a first reading tonight, so no action is requested. I do have two what I call cheat sheets that I am happy to share with you. I think I did it in the summer, so you just had a summary because sometimes they're a little bit difficult to get through all the red lines, but I'm happy to share with you after the meeting tonight so you have reference to them. We did separate them out because they seem to come out with a lot of policy revisions in July this year after the normal time frame, because there were so many different pieces that came through and making sure that they were up to date with the code. So the first one you see there, non-action A, is in relation to student records policies. So these are all lumped together for you as A. You've got policy JO, JOA, and JOD. Again, these are about student records. We actually saw some of these in the other policy adoptions, but then they also clean them up to make sure they reference the right code numbers for them. They do ensure that they align with the current Virginia law, FERPA requirements, and any updated guidance that we have received. So policy JO is student education records. This was a pretty substantial revision. It was clearer, more comprehensive requirements for the collection, maintenance, access, disclosure, retention, correction, and destruction of student records. It does strengthen protections for personally identifiable information to protect students. Clarifies what are the rights of parents versus what are the rights of students to access records. Addresses the electronic and special education records. Establishes procedures for disclosure, directory information, subpoenas, protective orders, and unauthorized electronic disclosures. It also clarifies that parents and eligible students are not to be charged for inspection or copies of their records. That is probably one of the biggest changes that came forward with it, was that you may not charge students for a copy of their records, or parents for it in that matter. Policy JOA, student transcripts, kind of along the same line, updates transcript requirements and clarifies that parents may elect to exclude certain standardized tests from that, such as SAT or ACT scores, from the transcript. So if they request it, it will not be sent to the college or university. It also maintains the ability for parents to request a high school credit course taken in middle school, be omitted from the transcript, and the student not receive high school credit for those courses. That's currently already in place for us. It's in our handbook that if a child is taking a high school level course in the middle school, they can request, I believe it's prior to April, I would have to check the date, is that right, Ms. Saunders? April, that they do not want that included in their high school transcript for it to count for them. And that's already been in place, but it does clarify that in this policy. Policy JOD is the release of those records. It establishes the use of a standardized consent form for parents, legal guardians, and eligible students. They gave us a sample form. We also have a Division I that is the same for us with the required information. When records are accessed or given to another individual or an agency that may be requesting it. So we just don't give records. You have to sign the release to get those records, and the parents have to sign them. And this is mainly to be used with certain state and local agencies if they were to request something so that it is standardized form. So with these student record policies, basically they are reflecting the updates and legal requirements. They're providing a little bit more clear procedures that maybe haven't been as clear in them before regarding the student privacy, parental rights, and the management and release of records. And again, this is just first read for you tonight.
You can continue on
With B?
Quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Throughout it, there's multiple areas where if the school board wishes to add additional information, we're not adding any additional information. Okay.
No. We're pretty much already in alignment with what
There wasn't many strike-throughs.
exactly, and we do take student information very seriously and privacy of that information. So we were already following and doing these things anyway in our practice within our schools and having the forms in place. So it just provided clarifying language.
Right, and regarding the FERPA and access to that, I didn't see it and maybe I missed it. Did it say anything about the timelines connected to the FERPA, or are you reverting back to the FERPA criteria when parents requested?
We follow everything based on FERPA and how it's.
But I just didn't know if it was in
No,
here.
I don't
Does
think
need to
it
be?
had it
I didn't see
specifically. Sometimes when you start adding certain things and then
Yeah, I
they
know.
change dates, then you have the law, and then you have something that reflects something different. And so sometimes less is better, instead of specifying the exact dates that are in it. So we will revert back to whatever the law is at that point in time for it.
Well, I agree with you. I didn't see it, so
Yeah.
I thought I'd ask rather than assume.
Yeah. We proceed with the next set. All right, so these are a little bit longer. There are a couple that I will highlight for you. And again, I'm happy to send these summaries to you so you can have them for your record as well. AD is educational philosophy. That's reviewed as part of a regular 5-year cycle. It gives you the right to include your own mission, core values, priorities within the policy. BBA is school board powers and duties. So it aligns more with the powers and duties of the school board with Virginia Code. And additional board responsibilities were incorporated, including provisions related to allowing students to participate in public comment, if they want to participate in public comment, under the portion of the board meeting, under the same rules applied to other speakers. So that's the biggest part with that one, as it talks about students being able to participate in public comment. BDDH/KD, public participation at school board meetings. This is probably one of the bigger ones. This one is revised to align with the Freedom of Information Act. It clarifies public participation requirements, but it allows the board the discretion in establishing reasonable procedures for attendance, registration, speaking, time limits, and orderly conduct during public comment. So that gives you the discretion, it spells it out more so too, that you have that discretion to add those things in there. DGC is school activity funds. The biggest thing is reflects the code and to what the code says now. It uses current and consistent terminology related to school activity funds. It clarifies existing language regarding the management, accounting, reporting, and oversight of those funds. DJF procurement, it had a pretty big revision to it, but it was renamed from purchasing procedures to procurement. That's one of the biggest things, yeah. So we're gonna use the bigger words. We're gonna use our academic terms. It was streamlined to align with the Virginia Public Procurement Act and other applicable laws. It talks about competitive procurement, transparency, conflicts of interest, ethical standards. Some of the operational details were moved from board policy just to footnotes at the bottom of it. So that was a big change with that one. EI is insurance management. It's part of the 5-year cycle that they have. No real substantial policy changes. Hyperlinks were added to it just to make legal references a little bit easier for you. GAA staff time schedules. So this one is to better align with the Fair Labor Standards Act. That's the biggest piece of it. It provides clearer guidance regarding exempt and non-exempt employees. So that's a lot of people don't understand exempt versus non-exempt, and we go through this quite often. So admin, principals, school board office people, teachers are all exempt employees. Instructional assistants, bus drivers, custodial, cafeteria, they're all non-exempt employees, which means they are eligible for overtime pay, those compensatory times for things like that. And that's a little bit different, and sometimes people don't realize what exempt versus non-exempt employees are. So it does clarify that. It defines what work schedules are. So for example, for an exempt employee, it talks about the minimum is 7.5 hours. However, other duties are assigned, such as parent-teacher conferences, open house, parking lot party, that those are all part of your duties as being an exempt school employee, and that you are not entitled to any compensation for those things. However, if you are a non-exempt employee and you've worked your minimum hours that are stated and you go over that, then we are obligated to pay you the overtime rate or time and a half for that. It also talks heavily about employee attendance expectations and the fact that things such as excessive absences, habitual tardiness, all of those things could result in disciplinary action or possible non-renewal of your contract. So it does spell out some of those type of things a little bit clearer in this policy. GBB, it prohibits bullying and abusive work environments, and it's a 5-year renewable. It was renamed to specifically include bullying. That was one of the biggest things in it. GCCB aligns with policy regarding conflict of interest with employment of family members. IK, we talked about last month, and you already approved it. The only change in that was that the numbers now reflect the current code. When it first came out, the numbers were matched up still with old codes, and if you went and searched one, you're like, this is not the same thing. Now they are matched to the code. JFCA is teacher removal of students from class. There was some confusion in the old language of it, when a student could be removed from class and how that student could come back to class. So that has clearly defined some of that and aligns with the policy and the requirements. JHCD is administering medications. Suicide prevention is JHH. No changes were recommended to that policy because there has not been additional guidance from the Virginia Department of Education on that yet. JS is another one you already approved last month. That's the extracurricular notification. It was switching it to the right code. It was attached to the wrong code number. KKA is service animals in public schools. It was revised to align with ADA. So federal law, that's the biggest thing there. It removed language that was not consistent with ADA requirements. And then KP, parental rights and responsibilities, there's no major changes to it. It's again one of those that was reflected to numbering, that the code number that we had before was different than what it is now. And it took out a footnote that was outdated in it. So again, there's no action tonight, but these are the policy updates, and they are primarily intended to keep division policies aligned with current state and federal law. They do provide some clarity, legal references, and administrative or operational details. And again, I'm happy to share these notes with you.
Would the public be better served if we dealt with this in a work session rather than during our monthly school board meeting? I mean, they're certainly welcome to come to work sessions, right?
They are, but you could not take action on them until an actual school board meeting. And Ms. Wood, you can correct me, they do have to go through 2 readings. So it could go, so maybe a thought for consideration is that we go through them possibly at a work session, and then we highlight them as the first read during a board meeting, and then of course you would have the second read as well, but we could go through them and discuss any of them at a work session. You just cannot take action on them, and they do have to.
I'm not looking to incur extra time for anybody.
Right.
But I was just thinking of a way to maybe streamline this process, but I guess you really can't because you have to have a first read.
First read and a second read. It would be great, we could streamline it if they didn't come out with these policy changes after we already did them the first time, so that we didn't have to go back through them again the second time, but I am happy to share these notes with you if that will help.
Any other questions or concerns? If not, the information items, the professional development plan, Dr. Martin?
Yes, so this is just an informational item for you. In your packet this evening, you have the 26-27 professional learning plan. There are no new initiatives within the plan. It's the current instructional priorities that we have in place, but strengthening those and really looking at the systems and the processes that we currently have. There's a high focus on the alignment and rigor, especially with our math instruction this year. We are, I hate to say that math has taken a back seat because it hasn't, but over the last couple of years, there's been an intense focus on reading, and not that we're not gonna focus on reading, but we really need to strengthen our emphasis on math this upcoming school year, and making sure that we're providing high quality aligned instruction in that. So balancing it, but really focusing on math and where our students are performing. Of course, using data to drive instruction, to look at groups, to tailor instruction to individual students and their needs. Of course, literacy, as I said, that's still a focus, the science of reading, using our curriculum that we have, monitoring, going a little bit deeper into it and working with students individually. Focus on students with disabilities is a big focus for us this year. Strengthening co-teaching that we have going on, making sure that we're using high leverage practices, that we're differentiating, that we're using response to intervention and assistive technology across the board. Mr. Alla, did you want me to stop?
What percent of our student body are students with disabilities?
Dr. Gravely, do you have that off the top of your head? We have about 200 students that are.
It's probably like 14, yeah, it's lower, like 237, so if you.
7-8%.
No, it's higher than that.
It's higher than that. How many
Like
students?
14%.
14%.
And that's a rough estimate,
Right.
don't count me on that, but it's around that.
Thank you.
Our plan is also focused on student engagement and classroom practices. So helping teachers strengthen their classroom management practices is one of our focuses this year, especially with new teachers or teachers that are new to the profession, making sure they have solid classroom management practices within their classroom. New teacher support. That is one of the things that we have really worked over the years to ensure that we have new teacher support that they have, what they need in order to be successful as a new teacher in their building, coaching and feedback and having mentors with them. We will continue with our leadership development. We have teacher leaders that are working in our schools. We also have our Nottoway Lead program, which is our opportunity for people to go through the program and learn leadership skills so that we can build that pipeline of leaders within the school division. And then, of course, there's always a focus with technology, safety, and school climate. As we've talked before, AI, ensuring that how it's being used, why it's being used, when it's being used, what are we doing with it, not just for students, but for staff and administrators, because those things are only as good as the information you put out, and there's certain times when you can use it, and there's certain times when you shouldn't be using it for things. Of course, cybersecurity is huge with the number of attacks that go on across the board. So still that focus on technology, safety, and just the overall climate in our building, the school climates, and making sure that there's supportive of climates for not just students and families, but also for teachers and staff, that the right climate is in place within their buildings too. So it's not really new initiatives, but it is focused on consistency in the implementation of what we're doing and strengthening that. Like, we want to move up, we want to level up, and we want to get to the next level. So.
Any comments or concerns? And summer school update, Dr. Lewis? Been out of summer school for a while.
I supervise summer school. But good evening, Vice Chair and board members, and Dr. Martin and Ms. Wood. So summer school was really good. Our coordinator is here. She's going to present to you the data, what we did, how the students enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you, the feedback, she's going to share that. Our teachers and our students were very excited. They learned a lot. They did hands-on, and I'm taking over her presentation. But summer school, we got a lot of compliments this summer with the organization, the way she started the program. Everything was detailed. Everything was laid out. So we couldn't have asked for a better, suitable and person to run summer school. I didn't have to do much. So it was good for me. With further ado, I am going to turn it over to Mrs. Booker. She's going to lead her presentation.
Before she starts too, I want to echo that Dr. Lewis does a lot to get the program ready on the front end, but we heard nothing but great things about Ms. Booker and from the teachers and the students and the staff, and I really thank her for that commitment. And I have to say, Ms. Booker is one of our Nottoway Lead participants from last year too, so that Aspiring Leader program, and she did a phenomenal job. I cannot thank her enough for the work that she did during summer school this year.
Good evening, everyone. So basically, summer school consisted of 7 days, and what we did was literacy, we did math instruction, and we did STEM activities. The summer learning program is basically to help the students shine brighter in literacy and math, as well as setting them up for success for the upcoming school year. The next several slides just shows you that our attendance, and the students were pretty much consistent in coming. We didn't have a lot of absences, but that was for all of the schools. In our SOL success, we had 6 out of 17 students to pass the World Geography SOL. We had 15 out of 19 to pass the Algebra 1 SOL. And if I remember correctly, I think the teacher who did that was Miss Joy, and she had an 83% SOL pass rate. We had 3 out of 8 students pass the World History 1 SOL, and 2 out of 7 students passed their Reading SOL. This just outlines what the RISE Summer Program is. And it's just basically saying that without a program like this, there's a potential loss of 2 to 3 months of hard-earned progress with the students. And by having them in this particular program, it keeps them in the loop, and they don't have to catch up when they go back. These are just some pictures of the students being actively engaged and students working together doing some of their science STEM activities as well as some math activities. That's them working on their student portfolios that were provided by the company, doing independent work. And that's just them learning through play. And those are just some group pictures that they took. And then I did a teacher survey. The first question was the orientation and onboarding process, and majority of the staff agreed that they were adequately prepared for their summer roles. The next question was, did they receive clear guidelines regarding job expectations, daily schedules, and attendance procedures? And the majority of them strongly agreed that they were well-equipped to do their job. The next question was the provided curriculum and instructional materials were age-appropriate and effective. Majority of the staff did agree, but they did have some concerns about the curriculum that I'll go over a little later. I had timely access to necessary supplies, technology, and room resources. Everybody pretty much agreed that they did. Classroom management and student discipline support systems were responsive and effective. They all agreed, and 64.3% strongly agreed that they had what they needed. Facility conditions, climate control, cleanliness, and security were well maintained throughout the session. Majority of the staff did agree. I know one thing everybody kept commenting on was that it was cold in the high school.
Yeah, because it's cold in there.
Communication from summer leadership and administration was timely, clear, and actionable. Everybody agreed. Okay, so question 8, what went particularly well this summer? And well, most of the staff said that it was much more organized regarding the materials. They liked the daily lesson plans and the clear pacing that kept their students highly engaged. They said again that it was well organized, provided engaging learning opportunities. They loved the fact that there was gym time and not all of the teachers had to stay in the gym with the kids, so they rotated on that, and that gave them a little more planning. They liked the schedules. They liked the fact that we only had 2 teachers for middle school, so I just separated them 7th grade and 8th grade, which was easier than a 3-teacher rotation. They pretty much said that things were in place and ready day one, and they didn't have any questions as to what they needed or what they needed to do. They also liked or stated that there was great communication across from administration and staff, that there was organization and clear expectations were set from the start. The biggest challenges or pain point that they experienced, a lot of them did not like doing the modules. You have to do the training modules at the beginning, and since majority of the staff were returners, they didn't feel that they needed to do those and that they were a little bit excessive. But in the company's defense, they were different, or there were some additions in the training. They felt that the Lavinia curriculum is an enrichment curriculum, and since this particular summer school, we were geared to more toward remediation, they felt that we needed a more remedial curriculum than the enrichment curriculum. And then some of the kids, like the older ones, they were talking about irregular attendance and how if the student's not there, you can't give them the skills that they need. Some of the teachers said that the teachers should be deciding what the students need more than using a crafted curriculum. And some of them were saying that they wanted to be provided a pre-summer training focused on Lavinia Rise pacing and modifying lessons for struggling students. What specific changes, trainings, or additional resources would you recommend for next summer? The training modules. They are still, again, suggesting a remedial curriculum. And then some of them were saying that we could extend upon what we do during the school year by using HMH or Alexia for the remediation portion. Well, of course, 100% of them would be interested in working summer school again next year. And this was just if they had anything else they would like to share regarding summer school, high school. A lot of them were thankful for the opportunity, and then they just said how well prepared the summer session was and how they didn't have to really look for anything. And if they needed discipline issues or if they had discipline issues, I was always visible and always walking around, so they didn't have to wait long for me to come and take care of that. As well as I had open communication with them. They got emails every day, all throughout the day, whenever there was a change. And I believe.
Well, the other piece that she did not share, that she also incorporated some co-teaching scenarios in summer school. So some of our students with disabilities were also able to have assistance in the classrooms for support. And she also advocated for her staff to have, I would say, surprises. They had donuts one time, and she wanted lunch, and Dr. Martin was gracious to say, yes, we can do that. And so, you know, so she really did a great job with the staff and the students. Thank you.
And is that it? Yes. So I would just like to take the time to thank you all for the opportunity to serve in this capacity.
Go back. There's something Ms. Booker forgot too. Can you go back to that last page?
What is it?
Or the bottom. There you go. Ms. Booker did a great job.
Mrs. Booker was on top of summer school from day one. She did a great job.
Yep, she did.
You missed that. I did it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do y'all have any questions?
Thank you very much.
I do.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say something I want to commend you, and I don't know if this was your idea or where it came from, but I want to commend you for asking the hard questions and being willing to receive feedback. That's not something that is easily done, because we don't want to hear if there's negative feedback. I mean, I'm just being real, we're human, we don't want that. So I commend you for that, you know, and being willing not only to receive it, ask it, receive it, and share it. So being a little presumptuous that you're going to return into the coaching position for next year, what are your thoughts as far as changes or ideas?
Well, some changes I was thinking is that because this year we actually got all of our supplies in early, and a lot of the teachers wanted to review the stuff earlier, so giving them that access, trying to get it in even earlier so that they can come in and look at it. And then also I thought about having the Lavinia representative come out and do a live class or live training for them to answer any questions that they may have.
Very good, thank
You're on
you.
top of
Thank
it.
you for the work that you did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The summer school internship program, Dr. Martin? The summer internship program, not summer school.
So again, this past summer, well, it's still summer, but over June and July, our high school students had the opportunity to participate in internships with local businesses and organizations. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Dr. Foster and Ms. Hudson. It's all Ms. Hudson. It was her baby this year, and she's done a great job with the program and getting the students in place, but I'm going to allow her to highlight the program and the opportunities our students had. And I believe she's got some assistance this evening to help her.
We have
All
some
the back there.
We have some support. Okay. All right, thank you, Vice Chairman and members of the board, Dr. Martin, Ms. Wood. I just wanted to tell you what a great group of students we had this year that represented Nottoway High School. They were amazing interns. They went out and they were just forceful. We got nothing but great feedback from all of them, and some were even offered employment afterward, or the opportunity to come back and continue at a later time. So I have a special guest here. This is Lauren Lee, and I'll introduce her a little more later. I just wanted to share that our program goal is really to provide authentic work-based learning experiences for our students. We start the application process by advertising to our juniors and seniors, but of course, by the time they enter their placement, they're newly graduated seniors or rising seniors. So this year we had 12 graduated seniors that went out into our internship experiences and 7 rising seniors. They got the opportunity to explore careers, and one of the big caveats that they all shared with me was that they really wanted to have experience in the actual workplace. They maybe knew what kind of career choices they were thinking about, but the opportunity to actually go out and get hands-on and try something for themselves in the workplace was really important to them. So the program this year, I think, did a great job of doing that. What happened this year, we had 15 internship partners that took on 19 interns. We had 4 that were new to our program this year, and 11 were returning partners, which I think speaks volumes for the experiences that we're giving our community partners as well as our students. We had 6 partners that were from Blackstone and at the county offices of Nottoway, including the schools. And we had 1 from Burkeville this year and 2 from Crew. So a goal for us, I think, is to maybe spread that a little more evenly throughout our community, but we definitely appreciate all of our community partners for being willing to give our students an opportunity to step outside the classroom and get these experiences. We already have, that's okay, we already have partners that are reaching out about participating next year. Some of them aren't even past participants, so the word is spreading, which I think is a great thing also. So partners reaching out to us is great instead of us having to knock on doors and beg people. So I think that's a great incentive for next year. So if you see any of our partners, these are some of our community sponsors this year. They all hosted. We had professional people that were willing to mentor and really work closely with our students to improve skills that they already had or discover new skills in the workplace. So if you see them, please thank them and encourage them to share what they liked about the program. We really do appreciate all of their participation. This is a list of our interns this year. We had 39 applicants to the program this year, and we sent 19 students out into the field. So you may know some of these names. I'm sure some of them are familiar to you all. Lauren is one of them. It's really more of a learning, more than a learning experience. It's really an investment in the future of our community on both sides. We're investing in our students, and I think we're investing in the relationship that we have from the school system with our community. Our students have been able to reveal strengths that they have and discover new talents and gain new skills and really begin to have confidence in those skills. Even the application process that we went through, I think that students grew a lot and they've gained confidence in applying and interviewing and things of that nature. Some things that our interns shared with us and had to say, they really liked that the experiences were hands-on. They were gaining knowledge and experience in a technology-based field, which was an interest of some of our interns. Every day was a different experience. They really liked that. You can work to make a real difference in someone else's life. It could be challenging, but it is also a rewarding experience. It helps you have better insight on how things run behind the scenes and how to organize well. This is some photos, a lot of them made by our Lauren here, of them actually in the workplace enjoying some of their experiences. That's okay. As you can see, we had quite a variety. This is a set of headshots that Lauren and her host actually did for our students, so it was really exciting to have them go in and make professional headshots. And then I'm going to turn it over to Lauren, who's really going to give us an in-depth look. That's kind of ironic. She worked at a place called In Depth, and these are real program highlights from the summer.
Good evening, Vice Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Martin and Ms. Wood. My name is Lauren Lee. I have recently graduated from Nottoway High School and have been a participant in the summer internship program for the past 2 years. Thanks to this program, I've been able to better prepare myself for what I hope will be my future career. As Ms. Hudson said, my internship was with In-Depth Productions, working with Carl Bassfield, and learning more about media and what goes on behind the scenes. While my internship has remained the same for the past 2 years, it's not always the case for everyone, but I do believe that this program gives students a taste of what future work experiences could be like. The work sites have ranged from office jobs to mechanic work, and even recently helping out with 4-H camp for a week. This year, I got the opportunity to capture what this program is like and what goes on within most of our internships. I don't know where the video's at, but we're gonna play a video. And the video I'm going to play only scratches the surface of how much this program has provided for not only me, but other students within the program as well.
Voodoo bug to the computer.
Well, I think that program is great. Thanks to everyone that has participated to make it, it looks like a success and a growing success. So,
All hands on deck.
the company that you work for, I'm not familiar with them.
I was going to ask the same question.
He's a local. He's currently moved to a new building, but he's working within the Creative Exchange now in Blackstone on Main Street. And pretty much, he's working with 2 other guys, Ralph Branch and Joe Frost. And Joe mainly is the videographer, Carl does like photography, and then Ralph has like multiple businesses, but this is also one of them. And it's like they just opened up this summer, so it's a new thing. But I think more so, they are going to still focus on media stuff as well, but I think also just trying to advertise for things that Ralph like helps out with, like the foster care and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Foster, they're all back there trying to.
Yeah, I'm going to UVA this fall. I move in next Friday.
Maybe that's what you ought to have as one of your things for next year.
And I would say probably thanks to the internship and learning more about media, it's like gotten me an internship with the UVA football team for media as well.
Wow.
Because I have had past experiences on my resume as well.
Very good. Very good. It's okay, we've learned everything.
You done told us
I'm
everything.
so sorry that you couldn't see that
okay.
tonight, but we'll make sure that you get a copy of it sent to you. And Lauren, you'll notice what a great job Lauren did on that. She interviewed her colleagues, and she pieced it all together, and she really captured the essence of the program. So I think that you'll notice.
Lauren, I have one question. Were you able to use some of the experiences at your work site in putting this together?
I definitely did learn a lot about video because I did know enough, like I did photography for sports within school on my own, but
Yes,
I feel
I remember you now.
but I feel like I learned a lot about like editing stuff and then again getting a taste for what video and how that works because I'd never done that on my own. So I feel like this internship has prepared me for a lot, specifically with what I want to do in the future.
You were in the video, so that was good. You were like,
Good job.
This
You
was,
going on to college?
Yeah, I'll be attending UVA in the fall.
yay.
and what's part of what you'll be doing there?
I'm gonna major in media arts, but I would say I did say it, but thanks to the internship and getting to build my resume through the internship for the past 2 years, I have now experience and I have an internship lined up for the UVA football media team. So
Very good.
Amazing.
So it would be inappropriate for me to say, "Go Hokies"?
Very inappropriate. Very inappropriate.
So, thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Very much, thank you. Mrs. Meyer, the Maintenance and Grounds Report. You gonna get pictures for this? Maybe, maybe not.
I have to go get my computer so I can.
It's okay, you can just tell us.
Don't.
I gotta remember everything I put in there. You got it?
Here it is.
Maybe.
Dr. Martin, would you sit down, please?
I'm gonna fix the technology as technology director.
Okay, start, okay, it's populating.
Something's off. Well, it was off when we got it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, you're gonna click for me when I need it? Okay, okay. All right, so facilities and grounds, just kind of give you an overview of what has been going on, what's happening, what's, part of the future. I will go ahead and just, give you a heads up. There's gonna be some really large dollar figures on a couple of these slides, so just be prepared and don't fall out of your seat. So we're gonna talk about projects that are kind of started in FY26 but have rolled into FY27. Some of them are large projects that we have been waiting on. The roof here at the high school has been in the process the last week or so of getting replaced. If any of you have been in here, you might have heard, loud bangs and, smelled some odors. You might have smelled a little bit of the glue odor as you walked in this evening. But it is exciting that we're finally getting rid of one leaky roof. So that is huge news. They should be done by the 18th, so right before students start back, which is awesome. But they are moving. The roofing system that we had on originally was a 1-ply roof. What we have gone to is a 2-ply system, so it actually has a lot more insulation. It will help keep the building cooler during the summer and warmer during the winter. Not going to roast anybody out of here or freeze anybody out, but it'll at least help us regulate the temperatures a lot better. HVAC. We had a huge HVAC replacement this summer that was super exciting. A little bit stressful to just go through the motions of that. Crew HVAC, we do have cool air. I will say not every unit is running. They will be by the close of business tomorrow. But it has been exciting to be able to see that process and to see it, come to fruition. That was a lot of hard work on everybody's part to get that moving through. And, I appreciate Dr. Martin, school board, the board of supervisors for really standing behind us on that one, so that our kids do not have to deal with waterfalls in their building this school year. Some other things that will be coming up in FY27 are additional HVAC replacements. The rooftop units here at the high school will be replaced. We're working on some potential dates of possibly over winter break, if not definitely at the start of next summer as soon as students get out. We're also replacing the gym units at Blackstone and Crew. These are all projects that are within that Department of Energy grant. Just like the roof was in that Department of Energy grant, and as soon as we got the approval to move forward with phase 2, we started rolling. So those will be up and coming within this fiscal year. The gym units will definitely probably be done before December 31st of this year. And then just talking about some of the aesthetics, over the last couple of years, we've been really trying to at least start painting the interior of our schools. We have painted all the hallways at Crew here at the complex. So this year we did a rather large scale painting at Blackstone with doing hallways, stairwells, and the cafeteria there. Those are currently in progress. They might be working a little once school gets in, but they work in the overnight hours, so by the time students come in the next day, it's dry and there's no wet paint, and they clean up behind themselves very well. Some additional painting projects that we will be undertaking as well this fall will be the cafeteria in the high school. However, we needed to wait until after the roof was on because, they dust will fall. So they will be coming in to do that, as well as the cafeteria at Crew Primary. And after that point, really and truly, then we need to start getting in classrooms and bathrooms and doing painting. We have painted some of the bathrooms here at the high school, and we will be working on some of those throughout the school year as we are able to. But those are just some of the bigger painting projects that we have kind of worked on in that aspect. So I wanted to kind of go through the facility condition assessment. I don't know if you all remember, but the state was awarded a grant by the federal government, and as part of that grant, they were able to do facility condition assessments at 10 high-need school divisions. We were one of the benefits, so this didn't cost anything out of our pocket. But Mr. Templeton and I spent 2 full days with the group that came, which included an electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, structural engineer, and a few other people along with them from Virginia Department of Education's architecture group. And we went through every nook and cranny of this complex. So we were on the roof, in mechanical rooms, in basement rooms. There was not a spot that we did not actually touch, look at, and go through. So it was a very fulfilling experience to really see through their eyes what you look at when you're really doing a true facility condition assessment. So a couple weeks ago, we got the actual report. It was a little, took a minute to digest, because there's some rather large numbers in here.
Yes, it is.
So current replacement value, if you were to replace this entire complex from end to end, would cost about $137 million. Obviously, we don't have that. The deferred maintenance cost. So these are all the costs that have been put off years and years. It's $57 million in all 3 schools. That's pretty significant. And then you'll see the condition index. So the high school, being our newest school, only has a fair condition rating. The next step below that is poor. And your intermediate middle school have a fair/poor, depending upon which side you're looking at. You can ask a question.
Can you back up to that previous slide?
Maybe. Maybe.
There you go, right there.
Yes.
So here, a while back, before we started all this project at Crew Primary, if I remember, the cost to fix everything at that time was around $42 million.
So that cost were just estimates that Robbie and myself had come up with for the projects that we knew.
Okay.
This took a much deeper dive into things behind the wall that we can't see. Things that to a normal person walking through the school, they're not going to notice or know that that's an issue. So this is strictly just what they see and have labeled as maintenance costs for the 3 schools here at the complex. It also includes the athletic facilities out here, as well as the wastewater treatment plant down there, down the hill down there.
What's the degree of urgency with all of this?
I'm going to get there.
Because the $58 million is...
It's a lot of money. I told you don't fall out of your chair. So these are the primary deficiencies that they found. I only listed the ones that are poor or crisis condition. We only have 1 crisis. But at the complex as a whole, the wastewater treatment plant is considered in poor condition. It is functional. We're not violating any DEQ violations down there, but it has a lot of upgrades that need to be done. All new pumps really need to be put in down there. There's a lot of work that needs to be put into that wastewater treatment facility in order to make sure that we can get another 25 years out of it. So they did list that as poor condition just due to the age of a lot of that equipment down there. It was put in 1994, and it's never been upgraded or overhauled. It has all the original equipment to it. The only thing that gets replaced are the belts on the units that run down there, and that's about it. I mean, we have a guy who takes very good care of it down there. Keeps it up and running and operational. Nothing's ever down for long, and we do make sure that we do our monthly testing with DEQ, so we're within policy of that. But that is something that would affect the whole complex as far as that does need to be, it's at some point in the very near future, looked at having some major renovations done to it. Circling back to the high school, and a lot of these are getting fixed with this Department of Energy grant. So what they listed as poor condition was the roof covering here over the flat section. Well, that's getting fixed now, thanks to the Department of Energy grant. Interior-wise, the ceiling finishes, they made many notes that a lot of the ceiling tiles and some of the ceiling grids in the school need to be replaced. And that's just really something that every so many years you've got to do. They start to bow, they retain moisture, all sorts of different things. So they did list that as a poor condition. The rooftop HVAC units that are here over the flat section, there again, those are already on order with the Department of Energy grant. They will be getting replaced, so that'll be something that'll be taken off. And then the building HVAC controls. Once again, that is part of the Department of Energy grant. So most of the poor condition stuff at the high school, with the exception of the ceiling finishes, by the end of next summer will be resolved, and we will not have to worry about those for many, many more years past, even past that. Within the intermediate and middle school, they kind of combine these as two schools. We do have one thing that is in a crisis condition, and that is actually at the intermediate school. It is the concrete retaining wall. So if you're looking at the front steps, you have that little picnic area in the base. Well, there is a concrete retaining wall there. It is basically, structurally, it is not failing. So it's not like we have to worry about, it falling off to the side or kids getting hurt. But drainage-wise, it has failed. It has leached water into interior walls, so it does need to be addressed. They consider that crisis just because, water leaching into buildings is not a good thing and can cause a whole bunch of other issues. And there could be other issues that we can't see because of the dirt piled up in that, and if they were to come in, we don't know what else they might find. But we do know that that is a crisis condition that does need to be taken care of sooner rather than later. The poor condition at those two schools includes floor finishes, ceiling finishes, so there again, ceiling tiles, floor tiles. The HVAC systems in those two schools are going to be the next ones that need to be replaced. The ones that are currently in the middle school, a lot of them are actually original to the school building, so they're actually older than some of the ones here, but those were also made a lot better back in that time, so they've been able to last. But that is something that will need to get replaced. Both of those schools do not currently have building control systems, and that is something that they highly recommend. It does help with just utility cost, maintenance costs, because it gives you basically a heads up as to something's getting ready to happen, something's going to happen, something's gone wrong. It really helps with the diagnosis of that. Right now we have a pneumatic system in the building, and that has failed quite frequently over the last several years. So that is something that will be the next set of HVAC that will need to be replaced once crew in the high school are completed. And then the electrical system in both schools really needs to be upgraded. When the middle school was built, they tagged into the electrical system at the intermediate school. That is functioning off of electrical system that was put in 1970, so it is old. We've already had to replace the trunk line in the parking lot, which was not a cheap fix, but that was needed, so we hopefully didn't have any more power outages. So the electrical system in those two buildings is something that will definitely need to be looked at. Parking lots, if you've ridden through, especially on the intermediate school side, from where we've dug up and we've had issues and we've got potholes, the parking system between the middle and the intermediate school is probably the worst on the complex before anybody else. And then the exterior windows in both of the schools are technically shot. They release a lot of heat outside in the winter, so we're heating the outside instead of the inside, and they release a lot of cold air to the outside in the summer, and we would like to keep all of that in and not, pay to air condition and heat the outside. So those are things that they list as poor condition for the school division. So moving in, just trying to keep everything at the forefront, the ADA assessment. You can go into the next one. I know I've talked about this before, but just reiterating what the costs are to really get us up to ADA compliance across the division. Some things we have been working on throughout the year, which is just simple and doesn't cost us anything other than a few screws. It's just making sure things are mounted at the correct height. And then we'll continue to chip away at these as we have money to be able to do so, but there are some things that are gonna cost a lot more than, just what we have in our normal everyday budget. And then moving into just talking about our grounds, one of the things we started last year was really focusing on what our schools look like from the exterior, making sure they look inviting, that they're clean, that they're landscaped, so it's going to be a continued focus for us. We are hoping to work with our CTE coordinator and our agricultural classes here at the high school to help further the landscape, one, so they have some hands-on experience, and to help maintain and incorporate some flower beds at all the schools, just because we want the schools to be inviting to our students and our families. Landscaping does and to help some drainage. So that'll be another just help and add on for that part. And then hopefully I don't steal anybody's thunder here, but my last slide is, the importance of the 1% sales tax referendum. You saw the dollar figures in there. We truly need those funds. And that is all I have for this.
Any questions?
That was a lot, I'm sorry.
Let's say if Billy Colburn's numbers are correct. He told me that Nottoway County takes in $150 million a year in sales tax. Seems high to me, but I don't know. But let's just say it was $1 million a year. That's 58 years to get all of it, or 53 years, to get all that done.
Definitely we've got to be strategic about how we do things and what we do and the priority of everything is done. ADA is going to have to take a priority, but there's several other things. I know we walked the school buildings this week and we found some other deficiencies that really need to be looked at. One, just for student safety, for student well-being. I know our weight room is not in a great location. It does not have the amenities that it needs. And that is a class that our students take. So there are other things that, we are really starting to hone in on so that we can, hopefully at some point do a comprehensive plan and really put together a priority list of where things need to be and what we need to do.
But I want to say thank you for being proactive and getting a handle on all of this. I mean, that in and of itself is huge.
Yeah, that is huge.
We have a lot to do, and we appreciate your support, and I appreciate Dr. Martin's support in making sure that we continue to get this message out there to you all, to our families, that we do have needs in this division.
Anything else?
I do not.
Hearing nothing, thank you. The ANTC report, Mr. Outlaw?
Not a lot, but we do, for those that may not know, we've got a full joint board meeting, all 5 board members from both Amelia and Nottoway. That meeting will be on August the 27th at 6:30.
The USSB report, Ms. Duncan?
Yes. Where are my notes? Ah, here it is. Some interesting news that was shared at our last meeting is that they are attempting to expand interest, and correct me if I say anything inaccurately, they're attempting to expand interest and attract students at a younger age, enticing them to come over and join the governor's school. And how they're doing that is they're having the current GSSV students interact with grades, well, I think it was the gifted students, grades 3, 4, and 5, depending on the number of students that are within those grades. And how they're doing that is they're creating the students themselves. It's actually student-led. So the Governor School students is interacting with these lower grades and leading STEM-based activities, encouraging them to enter into Governor School when they get early. So that early exposure, hoping to increase the numbers within Governor School. There was also an increase with the Southside tuition, as well as there was 2 increases. The pay scale. So there was an increase for the teacher pay scale because it was originally the 3% increase. It's been adjusted to reflect the budget to a 4% increase. And there was an increase in the slot fees, not for us, but in the, sorry. Yeah. The credit hours. Yeah, the credit hours. However, Governor School absorbed all of those, and none of those fees will be passed on to us. And our next meeting is it October? Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, October the 21st. That's it.
Okay, well, switch right into the SEAC report.
Yes, SEAC report. So nothing new as of yet. I am excited about that for this year. On seeing what we're going to be able to do within that. Our SEAC meeting is coming up October the 6th at 5 p.m. virtually. I always do my little plug, be active, be a voice, help us share from a parent's perspective of ideas, thoughts. A SEAC is not just a moan and complain session. It is a session to express and share ideas, but also to, they can have events. They can do things that help engage those students and those families. That's it.
Thank you. Superintendent's report, Dr. Martin?
Sorry. No, you have item H first.
That is item H.
Item H, meeting date changes for school board meetings and work sessions on the updated agenda that you have.
I'll believe you, but I do not have a different item H. Item H is?
Meeting date changes for school board meetings and work session. I think it's on the left right there in front of you. Yeah.
Right here. Sonny. Oh, okay, I just... Okay, Ms. Duncan, that seems to be meeting date changes for school board meetings and work sessions.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment and have a discussion regarding meeting date changes for school board meetings and work sessions. The purpose of me wanting to discuss it is to share how making those changes can impact others. So I know that we recently changed our work session this month from the 26th to the 24th. I know that the 26th is our standing date. I've heard 2 rationales for the changing, one being that we have a meeting on the 27th, and another one being that one member cannot attend. While I'm all for, and I support changing any meeting dates, so that way all members can be in attendance. I'm not sure, I know that it was shared with central office that as a result of that change, I'm not able to attend the work session. So I guess the question is were y'all aware that changing that date limited another member from attending?
Isn't that what brought about the change to start with? Somebody couldn't attend?
It is.
Well, I've been on the board for 6.5 years. We've had, I would suggest, relatively few times that we have to change. And it's inconvenient for some. It's going to be inconvenient for some. We are 5 members, and not everybody's going to get their own way all the time. And we just need to be aware of that and continue to function. And heretofore, I think we have done that. But now, apparently, we haven't.
Oh, no, I'm asking, I support changes. But I guess the question is we changed it because there was one member who couldn't attend, but we changed it to a date that another member couldn't attend. So how do we justify one member's attendance over another's?
Let me ask this question. Did we know that at the time we made the change?
It was shared.
Because I don't recall it. I recall it being asked to change the date, and normally what happens is that we get an email and we're asked to suggest if we're available on certain dates.
Right.
That's normally, but I don't ever recall getting an email back that would say, oh, by the way, Mr. Outlaw can't make it on that day. I usually say when I'm available. It's unfortunate that that circumstance happened, but I was unaware that you would not be available.
I respect that.
Did you put it in? I mean, because, you know,
I made sure to reply.
So did you put that in?
I did. I made sure that the options, they were not going to work for me because I did have a full schedule for this month. And so thinking moving forward, I'm not sure how best that we can communicate if the changing of the date impacts another member's attendance, then perhaps it falls upon the one who's initially unable to attend.
Well, and I'll just suggest this, normally the person that sends that out is our clerk, Ms. Wood. Mm-hmm. So if somebody sends back, someone, the first, second, or third, pick one of those dates that you might be available. So Bill picks the third, I pick the second, somebody else, someone says, well, I can't make any of those 3 dates. The only way I would know that is if Ms. Wood sent back to me that first, second, and third are unacceptable because a person can't make it, or something to that effect. That's the only way I'd learn it, because I can't send an email
Right.
to the rest of the board without it being foiable.
Right.
And I don't do anything, at least I try not to do anything.
Bring it to the table so we can talk about how to prevent this from happening in the future, because as a result of the change, yes, it's vitally important that all 5 members are here, but I don't agree with whether it's me or Bill or Sonny or you or Damien, I don't agree with one member's attendance, meeting being changed for one member to attend at the cost of another member.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
But I don't know.
The position that I'm in is I was unaware that it was.
I believe you.
It was an impact to you.
I don't know if you can do a whole lot about it, because I may have the same problem. So what are you going to do? It's just, I don't think you can do anything about it.
Well, I guess all I'm asking is that if the meeting date does not align with the other members, then it shouldn't change.
Mr. Outlaw?
Well, as I started, or said when I first mentioned this, and all of that boils down to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't think we got a broke system. So let's not try to fix something that ain't broke.
Well, I think it is broke if you take one person's ability to have access to the meeting away in order to align with another person's.
Well, I'm just thinking, I'm thinking, okay, now I'm guilty of email. But to make sure that you get in touch with Ms. Wood to make sure that everybody even know that that happened, because I do remember sending dates out. Now, I didn't answer because it didn't matter to me, and then I forgot. So it didn't matter. So just to make sure that the communication is there, so to make sure that we know that.
And she knew, and her hands were tied because it had been requested, and the majority said yes. I mean, I did make it known that the date would not work, nor the other dates, due to my previously scheduled engagements. I did make it known, and I mean, that's valid, you know?
The one thing that I can share that happened is, last month, the chair indicated that he would not be able to attend this meeting tonight and asked to change the date. There was some discussion about it, and then I indicated that I could chair the meeting in his absence. And there were others that said, are you okay with that? Well, I was okay with that. So we didn't even go through the scenario of trying to change the date, because I'll take it as it was understood that I would just chair the meeting. That's why I reached out to you to see if you would fill in as the vice chair, because it's hard to do both of them at the same time. And Damien even sent me a text message, indicated that Charles was willing to do the prayer. I could have done that, but I'm just as pleased that Charles was willing to do that. So I guess what I need to know is, what are you asking us to do differently?
To take consideration for other people and their attendance, if you have the dates that's being offered and you have another member who cannot attend, then the date should not be changed.
So let me ask Ms. Wood, would it be possible, Charlotte, if when the initial email goes out to ask us to give a date, if there are rejections to that date, could you share that information with us? Okay. And if you can do that, then we can at least have a discussion, even if it's an email discussion. Because others will say, and I'll use this as an example, we're going to have a meeting on the 24th that starts at 7:30. I've already told superintendent, if the meeting is still going on at 9:30, I will get up and walk out. And it's not because I don't want to be there, it's because I have a medical reason to want to leave, to be home by 10 o'clock.
You have a requirement.
So that I can take care of business, so to speak. So, but I wouldn't expect anyone to say, well, let's not meet at 7:30. I know why we're meeting at 7:30. It's so other board members can be available, because they have regular jobs and I only have to do what my wife tells me. So that's...
Right, and I agree with you. That's why I align everything with my schedule, and I know that you do, and you do, and you do. You align your schedule around what is out there.
Well, we can see if Charlotte is willing to send us out the data, then we will have a discussion and maybe overcome this one issue.
That sounds like a great plan.
I don't think it would happen all the time, but just like I said, communication, that Charlotte is willing to do that, I think we're fine. I think the system is okay. It's just, let's just make sure that Charlotte get the information and to pass it on.
I'm not trying to change a system. I'm trying to maybe better something, because I would never want you to miss a meeting because I couldn't be there and the meeting be changed and thus you can't go or you can't go or Bill can't go. I would not personally put y'all in that position.
Okay, let's see if this will work. Let's give
For sure.
give some consideration to Ms. Wood to see if administratively we can handle those emails.
Well, I'll explain to you one of the reasons why this is important. I had shared with the chair and I shared with central office that I had a parent come to me a little bit ago and wanted me to share some concerns with the board. The parent and I spoke and we agreed that, in a work session would be the best place to do it. Now, as a result of me not being able to attend this meeting, it is going to delay it even more. And what's going to delay it even more is I had already had on my schedule a scheduling conflict for next month's work session. So this was my time in order to share this information. And again, I did
Share the information during other. We're going to get to that point here eventually.
I mean,
That information is from your
I don't have the
constituent.
email, and this was something that might be best discussed at a work session. So that way we could have open, candid conversation with factual information and the individuals present. And to that point, this is another reason why having the work sessions live recorded, because any information that's been shared in it, sure, anybody can see summary notes. And this isn't just about me, it protects all of us. I would never want to prevent anybody from having access to participation in a meeting as a result of somebody else's needs. Everybody needs to have equal access and adjust their schedules accordingly. But if it was something that was recorded, that could go back and be viewed, at least then the missing individual could see what was discussed and understand to a deeper level of knowledge.
Is there any additional discussion?
Can I
Hearing none?
jump in? Do you mind for just a minute?
No, I like your thoughts.
Thank you. So originally, when it was asked to change, it was to keep a work session. We were at the ANTC joint meeting when it came up about meeting earlier rather than later. It was agreed upon to do it August the 27th. That was an agreement because we wanted to ensure that all 5 members from both boards were present for that meeting. And the original scheduled work session was on the 26th. There was a likelihood that we may not have a quorum on the 26th. When I spoke and Ms. Wood spoke with Mr. Rowe, the original idea was to cancel the August meeting because we weren't sure we were going to be able to find a suitable date, back-to-back meetings, those type of things, which was the reason why we went to the 24th. That was also, the August meeting was also supposed to be when the principals were going to present their, of course, monthly reports, but we did delay that to September, not knowing the situation. The original intention in August, when we talked about it, was just to cancel it, just do the one, because I know that's a lot for people to get back and forth, and I know Ms. Duncan did have these concerns that we've talked about, but she wanted to also share them at a work session. I know she also wants to be there to hear the school's report, so that's why we moved it to that date. I do believe the only thing on that session, there's, I guess, 2 things that were listed for that now. Of course, was the grading policy, grading scale, and then, of course, the discussion about ANTC. Before that meeting on the 27th. But originally it was to just cancel that so you didn't have 2 meetings in a row. So I just throw that out there too, because that was part of the original conversation that we had, not to tie everybody up multiple nights during the same week so that everybody could be present. And I know all the dates we put out, somebody couldn't do one of the dates. And unfortunately, Mr. Rowe's not here this evening. Mr. Rowe could not be there at that meeting, so that prompted the initial discussion about finding the initial new date that we put out. And then the last thing was, okay, well, we got 4 here, we have 3 here, we've got so it was, let's put it back out. This is the choice. We'll go with majority, which happened to be August the 24th. But we are happy to do whatever the board decides. I also know trying to find another date, especially with that one, to get principals to come in. That's why I moved them to the next work session, because I don't want to alter their schedules either, so. But we are happy to do whatever pleases the board.
Okay, now the second H, superintendent's report.
So just share a couple of things that's been going on. It has been busy. It has been a busy 2 weeks here across the school division, getting ready for school to start. But I think it's been a fantastic back to school week across our schools. The schools have been busy preparing. I think we're ready. We're excited to welcome students back next week for the first day of school. I really do have to recognize our custodial and our maintenance staff this evening. They have done an outstanding job working through countless needs over the summer. The list of needs and requests is often very long of things that need to be done, and particularly these last few weeks to ensure that buildings and grounds are clean, safe, and ready for students and staff. It's often that work that goes on behind the scenes that no one ever notices in those countless hours. I can say that our central office staff, we did it last year, we did it this year, and with Mr. Templeton, we do a building walk of each building with the building principal and assistant principal to determine what have we missed, what do we need to do. Some schools, Mr. Templeton walked out with 3 pages of things that some things we needed to get done before next week. Other things were maps of things we need to take care of as we move forward, safety concerns, those type of things. And then, so that adds to the list that he already has of trying to get some other things done in the last couple of days. So they have done an outstanding job cleaning and getting things fixed and taken care of. And especially, I have to say, the custodial staff too, with the project at Crew, they had to come in last weekend and clean that building once they turned the air on over the weekend so that it would be ready for staff to come back in on Monday morning. So thank you to them, their supervisors, and of course Heather for working so closely with them and being there to support them when they need things. Our back to school parking lot party, we had a fantastic turnout. I'm glad everybody was able to enjoy the natural dunk tank that Dr. Gravely and I experienced. I would say Ms. Painter experienced it, but she only got dunked one time. But then everybody got to experience the dunk tank when the rain came pouring down. So Dr. Gravely and I, we were not by ourselves. We were not by ourselves with that. We were disappointed that the rain did cut us short for it, because I will say that we had even more people this year than what we've had in years past. We had a fantastic turnout for it. It was great to see students, families, staff, you all there, our community partners, and I can't say thank you enough to the people that help work behind the scenes to take care of things and to get it ready and everything. We've had open houses over the last 2 evenings. They have been packed. Last night was up here at the complex. I got up here to walk through. I parked way back in the student parking lot, and I mean, the parking lots were full. There were families everywhere, which was great. I was at Crew Primary in Blackstone earlier today. They were full of families there, excited students to come back, excited teachers in the building. Then of course there's a few that tell you, I don't want to come back to school. So there might be a little bit of, we expect those on the first day, a few of those little tears and everything else. But tomorrow we celebrate and welcome our staff officially back, even though they've been back all week, but we officially welcome them back and thank them for the work that they're doing, and to kick off the new year at our staff convocation. Our focus this year is on leveling up, moving to the next level. We are remaining committed to excellence again this year, but challenging ourselves to do more, and to do better, and to move to that level, to strengthen our work, to raise our expectations, and to set the bar higher, not only for ourselves, but our students. It's not about starting something completely new. It's taking the good work that already exists throughout the county and bumping it up a little bit more, moving to that next level of play and making us stronger. I do have one recognition, because the agenda had already come out, so I did not want to add it at a late moment, so I thought I would do it through my superintendent's report. And this is for the high school. So we have a chance to celebrate the high school again. This actually came in late yesterday afternoon. And so I have it here for Mr. Wilson. It is the ACT Work Ready Communities for Staying Maintained for the 2026 school year. It reflects the continued work of the high school to prepare students with the skills they need for success beyond graduation. So I am pleased to formally present this recognition to the high school and congratulate the students and staff who contributed to this achievement. I don't know if one of y'all want to give it to him. I know, I hated to even take it out because I did not want to put fingerprints on him, but Charlotte.
I'm going to clean it up.
You'll clean it up? So, good job. And that is for their commitment to workplace readiness testing of their students and the performance and the pass rates of it.
Can you get a picture?
I don't, no. Shirley, you want to give it to him and give a pic, and I'll take the picture? Gosh, I tried.
Super.
Where is Damien?
I know, right?
Mr. Abbott, you could give it to him tonight since you're serving in that role.
Superintendent.
Come on,
I'm not getting on that side because I am not hitting his arm.
1, 2, 3. Can you tilt it down just a tad? There you
He
go.
only has one hand, Charlotte.
Have confidence. Thank you.
Do you want the box for it?
Yes.
But congratulations to the high school for that achievement with workplace readiness skills. So I did want to share that with y'all this evening, and I did not want to keep that any longer in my office and have to worry about it. So the last couple of things, we are excited. We have some visitors coming to the school division over the next couple of weeks. So we are excited to welcome several of our health leaders to our schools in the coming week. Dr. Maria Almond, for the Piedmont District Health Director, is going to join us at Nottoway Intermediate School on Wednesday to welcome students back. And then on Thursday, Dr. Cameron Webb, who is the State Health Commissioner, and I believe he's bringing the Deputy Commissioner with him. They're going to visit Crew Primary School, and I believe he is reading a book to students when he comes and having lunch with them. So they are both coming down and want to see great things that are happening in our schools. And then on August the 31st, we will host the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Jenna Conway, at Blackstone Primary School as part of their listening tour. They're coming to Nottoway County Public Schools, and so she will be in the building at Blackstone Primary on August the 31st to see the great things that are happening there. The visits provide an opportunity to showcase our students, our staff, and our schools, and most importantly, the important work that's happening in Nottoway County. So a couple of things as we look ahead. I am really excited about the upcoming school year. Not everyone can always say that they truly love coming to work each day, but I do love the work that I do and the opportunity to work with the incredible people that I work alongside each and every day. They're amazing, and I've told you that before. We have an amazing staff, a dedicated staff. I am excited to welcome students back. I was so excited to see students today when I was in the schools and yesterday and have conversations with them. And they'd ask me, they were like, are we going to see you next week? And I'm like, no, I'll be around, I promise. And getting the hugs and seeing them and the excitement that they have to be back in school. And I'm looking forward to the great things that we're going to accomplish this upcoming school year. We have amazing additions that we've added to the already outstanding staff members that we have. I know some of you were able to come to new teacher orientation. They are ready to hit the ground running in all of the buildings. They have a great support system in place, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm also excited that a lot of them are Nottoway graduates, and they're coming back to teach in Nottoway County, which is great that they're coming back home to us and that they chose us to be a part of our family. And I have to say thank you for having a school board that supports the work that we have going on in the school division, and for the willingness to be there and be part of that work with our people and for showing up. So I appreciate that commitment to our staff and our students across the division. I'm equally grateful for those partnerships with our families, our community organizations, our local businesses. If we ask for something, they are willing to help us and help us figure out what to do. You saw it with internships. Many of them are helping to support Convocation tomorrow. They were at the parking lot party. So if we ask them to help us do something, they are willing to come to and help do whatever we need. And I can honestly say, if you walked in a building across the division this past week, I think you can feel the energy. might be a little tiring at some times. May not be as much energy at central office because we have been working some long hours to get things ready, but you can really feel the energy in the buildings when you walk in, the excitement of a new school year. It's an amazing place to be, and we're looking forward to a great school year.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
This year, the out of, or the non-district in-state student list, I've never seen anything that comes close to the numbers.
Go ahead.
Is that due to, I think, something you mentioned last month, that the word's getting around and that Nottoway County is a great place to be and people are saying, I want to get on that train?
Yes, I hope so. And we still have enrollments coming in. There's been a couple that we've actually, the principals have had to say that our classes are at capacity, like especially in K through 3, because of the class size reduction funds that we get, and we cannot go over certain amounts. So I know we picked up some from Cumberland. We've had Prince Edward, Lunenburg. Some of them are students that we already have. Also, some of them that aren't in those numbers that you don't see are teachers' children because they don't have to go through the out-of-district process. We still have had conversations with more. Every day we turn around, there's another one coming in. We do a conditional enrollment until it comes here to you. But the parents that I've talked with, they are very pleased about the opportunities for their students. They have said that they have heard from others about how the staff and the administrators take care, the teachers take care of the needs and work with them to help them do well. So
The enrollment numbers?
So I can tell you, we're watching this every day. Our enrollment numbers are up. The high school ended with 483 last year, and I think my last number that I looked at, they were almost at 520. Now.
Good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. I will say the county might not like that problem to have because but across the board, if we, for every student that we've transferred out, we have at least 1 or 2 in the enrollment school transferring in at the same time, whether they've moved here, they've asked for out of district, whatever it may be. So we're excited. I will also tell you that a lot of our international teachers have brought their families back with them, and so they have all enrolled in the school division as well. So yeah, we have a lot going on. Numbers are still, it's really hard to look at numbers. That's why I didn't give you a membership report tonight, because until we
I was gonna
take.
ask, are we close to 18 or whatever?
We base budget off of 1650. We were looking at well over 1700 where we were. One number that I looked at, and that includes pre-K, was 1783. Now you have to take pre-K out of that because that's a whole separate pot of money. But that's at least 50 students over what we had based. And like I said, it's still fluctuating so much. We won't have a true picture until next month's board meeting, and I will have that for you next month. Because they'll start to level out, and we can actually tell where we are a little bit more.
Matters of interest, some of this is redundant. Tomorrow, August 14th, the convocation at the Popular Hill Event Center. If you don't know where it is, it's on the main drag with all the flags. Just head way in the back. August 19th, first day of school. August 24th at 7:30 is the dual school board meeting. Excuse me, that's the 27th. The 24th is the work session. The 27th is the dual school board meeting.
Okay, which one is 7:30?
The 7:30 is the 24th.
27th, okay.
Yeah, the Amelia joint board meeting at Amelia is at 6:30.
6:30, okay.
6:30.
On the 27th.
Yeah, 6:30, got that one.
September 17th is a VSBA legislative conference in Charlottesville. November 18th to the 20th for those that are attending the VSBA annual convention. Now we'll go to others. Mr. Wilson, do you have anything?
Not at this time.
Mr. Outlaw?
Just to confirm real quick, The August 24th meeting is at 6 PM.
No,
7:30.
August 24th is at 7:30.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make sure I got it. 24, 7:30, okay.
Thank you. That's it.
Mrs. Duncan?
Yes, I have great things to say. I was at the parking lot party. I agree, it was a downpour, but it definitely did not dampen anybody who was there. It was a larger turnout than previous years. I saw a lot more of a lot of things. I saw a lot more vendors. I saw a lot more participants as far as students and families. I saw a wide range. I saw a lot more older kids than typically, because these events typically they're going to attract your elementary students. And this year I saw a lot more of the older students coming out. And to me, that says a lot, because the parents and the students are buying into the school system, because family engagement tends to taper off in the higher grades that you get. So I wanted to bring that out, that was an amazing thing to see and to witness. Also, they have supplied us with some of these. So if you're interested, my thought is I'm going to take some of these and canvass my district, passing them out to houses, answer any questions regarding the 1% sales tax. So they're down here.
Yeah.
They're down here with Marcia. I'm going to take some and canvass them out to help spread the word, let people ask questions, let people be informed about what it really is, and help to advocate and educate families of why this is important. That's all.
Thank you. I just have one item of a reminder, and that was a suggestion that we each provide 5 objectives that we would like to coalesce into a group, so when we meet with Dr. Martin on performance for the coming year, that we have a basis for that discussion. So please be prepared to develop, if you haven't already, your 5 suggested performance items for our superintendent. I want to thank those who participated in the parking lot activity. I played a very small part in trying to mash open buns to put hot dogs in, but
I saw you working hard.
it was interesting to see how one could get rid of about 950 hot dogs in less than an hour and a half. Thank you. May I have the meeting for the closed session, or the motion?
Yes, sir. Pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A of the Code of Virginia, I move that the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following specific matters. A1, the consideration of personnel for A, 14 appointments, 1 school counselor, 1 assistant wrestling coach, 5 substitute teachers, 1 substitute bus driver, 1 baseball coach, 4 substitute custodians, and 1 assistant soccer coach. B, informational, 1 resignation.
Heard the motion, may I have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.